Hi everyone, my name's Tori and today I'll be presenting on the importance of trans literature. Trans and transgender. Historian and transgender individual Susan Stryker defines transgender as a movement across the socially imposed boundaries of your assigned sex at birth. They also have stated that trans is an umbrella term that refers to any individual who has made alterations from the sex or gender that they were assigned at birth. This presentation uses the words trans and transgender interchangeably and follows along with Stryker's definitions. Trans history and literature. But what I learned through this research is that the first young adult novel featuring a trans teenager was Luna by Julie Ann Peters, and it wasn't published until 2004. And the first traditionally published YA novel about a trans character from a trans author did not hit the shelves until 2012, and that was Being Emily by Rachel Gold. It wasn't until 2016 that the Big Five publishing houses published their first novel about a trans person by a trans person. That's only 7 years ago that we saw those Big Five houses actually showing trans representation. So where is trans literature now? In 2018, the most challenged book was Alex Gino's George, which is about a transitioning child. That was only 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, our most challenged book was about a trans character. In 2020, the ALA Midwinter Conference hosted a panel of LGBTQIA to discuss their experiences, and it was reported that there was a lot of issues with soft censorship, invitations being revoked, administrative restrictions, and parental objections. On a more positive note, in 2020 and 2021, the Big Five publishing houses beat out independent publishers for having the most publications of trans representation since 2012. Now that's a really big deal and that's really important, but it's equally as important to note that 2021 is the first year in which the number of YA novels by and about trans people published ever broke 10. So why is trans representation so important? Why does trans representation matter? The National Center for Transgender Equity and National Gay and Lesbian Task Force found that 78% of transgender respondents had experienced verbal harassment and 35 had experienced physical assault. That is a high percentage for a population. Those numbers are too high. It's also found that 75% of transgender students report feeling unsafe at school because of their gender expression. So representation helps young queer people work out who they are and know that they're not alone. And it also provides a guideline for cisgender people to have experience, to see into the situation, to understand a little more what's happening. So this provides support for both those transitioning and those supporting those transitioning. Trans author Kaysen Callender states, "I'm dismayed to see that there haven't been as many new voices in trans feminine novels, especially when trans women of color are one of the most attacked and harassed groups of people in this country." There's been a lot of growth, there's been a lot of improvement, but as you can see, there's still so much we need to do. So what can we as librarians do? What can we do in our field moving forward? We can provide that representation. We can speak out. We can be a safe haven. We can have these books on our shelves so that people can see themselves in the material that we offer. So some resources for librarians are ALA Rainbow Book List, LGBTQ Reads, LGBTQ LibGuides, We Need Diverse Books, PFLAG, and Safe Space Training. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning of the resources that are out there and available. And these are the ones that will support you no matter where you're located. I would highly encourage you to look into what materials and community representation you have in your area. Thank you all. That's what I have for you today. If you have any questions, please respond to this discussion post and let me know. I'm happy to keep the conversation going, and I would love to share more with you. And then here are my sources. Hope you all have a great summer and finish well on finals. Congrats to anyone who's graduating.